The first theorist that proposed the first theory of personality in 1896 is Sigmund Freud, that is psychoanalysis, whereas a person's thoughts and behaviors emerge from tension generated by unconscious motives and unresolved childhood conflicts. In 1898, Freud finally developed the pre-association, a therapy he used to help his patients discover unconscious thoughts that have been repressed. In 1912, a new theorist named Alfred Adler emerged and proposed individual psychology, a theory of human behavior and a therapeutic approach that encouraged individuals to make positive contributions to society and achieve personal happiness. He also developed a psychoeducational approach in 1956 called Adlerian therapy.
1913, Carl Jung, Analytical Psychology. Methods of investigation. There is 4 methods in Jung's investigation. There is word association test, dream analysis, active imagination, and psychotherapy. As a way of exploring the unconscious aspect of our mind, your therapist may ask you to keep a dream journal and bring this with you to therapy for discussion.
In 1921, Melanie Klein built object relations theory, suggesting that infant relationships to objects or people and experiences with people would ultimately dictate future relationships and attachment styles. In 1920, she developed play therapy, a technique to uncover children's unconscious motivations.
On 1930, Skinner designed an apparatus known as the Skinner box. Using the device, researchers can carefully study behavior in a very controlled environment. The design of the box can vary depending upon the animal and the experimental variable. It includes one lever, bar, or a key that an animal can manipulate.
In 1936, Gordon Allport created the highly influential three-tiered hierarchy of personality traits, consisting of cardinal traits as strongly deterministic of behavior, central traits which influences but do not determine an individual's behavior, and lastly, the secondary traits which is strongly dependent upon immediate context.
By the year 1938, Skinner's operant conditioning was established. This principle states that the behavior which is followed by pleasant consequences is likely to be repeated, and a behavior followed by an unpleasant consequence is less likely to be repeated.
1940, Carl Rogers, Person-Centered Therapy or Person-Centered Psychotherapy. This type of therapy diverged from the traditional model of the therapist and expert and moved instead toward an interactive, empathic approach that empowers and motivates the client in the therapeutic process.
On the year 1943, Abraham Maslow first introduced the concept of an hierarchy, which is one of the best-known theories of motivation. This theory suggests that people are motivated to fulfill basic needs before moving on to the other more advanced needs.
In 1945, Karen Horney proposed psychoanalytic theory, insisting that social and cultural conditions, especially childhood experiences, are largely responsible for shaping personality.
In 1954, Rother emphasized that the role of expectancies in determining behavior is the concept of his theory called social learning theory. According to Rother, behavior is determined not only by nature or important goals or reinforcements, but also by the person's anticipation or expectancy that these goals will occur.
The Art of Loving is a 1956 book by psychoanalyst Erich Fromm. In this work, he develops his perspective on human life nature, escape from freedom, and man for himself principles which he revisits in many of his other major works. In 1957, the Penn model, a biological theory of personality, was developed by an influential psychologist, Hans Eysenck. The model focuses on 3 broad personality factors, which are psychoticism, extraversion, and neuroticism.
1958, Rollo May, Existential Psychology. People experience anxiety when they became aware that their existence or some value identified with it might be destroyed. 1959, Erik Erikson Theory of Psychosocial Development and the Concept of Identity Crisis. The emergence of identity crisis occurs during the teenage years in which people struggles with feelings of identity versus role confusion.
Neo Personality Inventory was created by Robert McCrae, year 1978. It provides a systematic assessment of emotional, interpersonal, experiential, attitudinal, and motivational styles, a detailed personality description that can be valuable resource for a variety of professions.